Hey, Homo sapien here. So Mashle, or Magic and Muscles, is like One Punch Man in Harry Potter, but the main character is like Mob plus Saitama. But if you don't know that already, you should close this window and watch Season 1 first, because this is a quick recap to prepare for Season 2. Or stay around to see if it's interesting. Not my fault if you get spoiled. So the setting is a world where magic is part of people's daily lives. Just your blueprint anime fantasy setting, but everybody is in a sorcerer class. See, they even have the same town as every isekai. Our main character, Mashle, is the oddball with zero magical ability but trains his physical body every day. The fun of this series is watching him try to overcome magic with pure muscle powers, and Mashle is completely OP, thereby creating comedy through the opponent's reactions. But I have to say that the anime feels more hype, while the manga feels more comedic because of the directing and the anime doesn't have the same funny faces or instant comedic timing from a page flip. In the first episode, we learned that Mashle has been living in isolation with his father, who prohibits him from going into the city. You see, magic is everything in this world, determining status, wealth, and, well, everything. These markings prove that someone has magical abilities, and the more powerful you are, the more markings you have. People without magical abilities are literally illegal, and babies without markings, they get oofed. But Mashle loves cream puffs too much and is hungry, so he goes there anyway and becomes wanted by the magic police for not having a mark on his face. Knock knock, it's the police. So it turns out Mashle's father had no magical talent and originally wanted to oof himself, but found Mashle abandoned and decided to raise him as a reason for leaving. But Mashle is stupid OP, stupid serving both as a noun and adjective, slapping away spells that can drive away dragons and destroy the whole area. Seeing this, the policeman decides to make a deal. He will keep Mashle's existence a secret, but Mashle must enroll into a magic school and be chosen to become a divine visionary. So divine visionaries are students chosen in one of the 3 magic schools every year, and they make the laws and shit. Mashle then takes the entrance exam, but unknowingly he pissed off the examiner, who saw Mashle doing physical training instead of doing last minute study on magic. For the actual exam, Mashle managed to literally brute force his way through, such as using his thumb to make a boulder float and running on water. But you know how these stories go already. They have asshole examiners, and asshole examiners don't want main characters to pass. So a-hole examiner creates a maze with various traps as a final exam. Lemon Irvin then approached Mashle, hoping to deceive him into failing the exam. But you know, muscle power, and Mashle is out. Then a Sphinx appears to kill her, but then Mashle comes back and one-punched the monster, saving Lemon and charming her in the process. Using classic violence, Mashle punched his way through the maze, reaching the exit just in time together with Lemon. The students became angry with this brute force method, but then Lemon revealed the truth. She came from a poor background, and the examiner promised to let her pass the exam if she sabotaged Mashle's exam. Only the confession ain't do anything, since the examiner decided he's gonna fail them both anyway, casting a spell to dare them to challenge the decision. But as we already know, violence triumphs over everything, and Mashle breaks his wand. But before any further escalation, the headmaster Wahlberg tells everybody to shut up and called for the final interviews, starting with Mashle. In the interview, Wahlberg appears fascinated by Mashle's response, noting that he is a righteous person who acts before thinking. However, Wahlberg activates his magic, transferring the soul of Mashle's father into a doll. Are we sure this principal is a good guy? This magic looks evil as shit. But anyway, he continues to have the knife inch towards the doll, explaining that the soul will never return. Mashle tried to punch the magic device to no avail before putting his hand in the way of the machine and proclaiming this to be an endurance contest. Wahlberg explains that Mashle possesses the quality of noblesse oblige, the idea that someone with power and influence should use it to help others. As expected, this was merely a test, and he welcomes Mashle into the academy. Magical classes start, but Mashle remains a magicless doofus. His roommate is introduced to be Finn Ames, and then we get some exposition on how to become the divine visionary. Basically, just get good grades to earn coins. There's also a Quidditch class or whatever this is supposed to be, where Mashle set a new record for speed. But it's not super important, except a douchebag noble guy with ties to the vice principal tried to bully Mashle by asking Finn to tear his textbooks. But as we know, violence with a sprinkle of friendship solves everything, and Mashle beats the douche noble. The vice principal reveals he saw everything, but even against nepotism, violence is the solution. Nah, not really. It's just the principal helping Mashle to not be expelled. who then explains that he wants someone like Mashle to become a divine visionary. Mashle is then forcefully invited to a duello and defied physics by constantly kicking the air to win the game. So, silver coins, yay! You see, this is explained later, but there are 3 doms, one representing courage, another wisdom, and the last one ambition. Basically a carbon copy of Harry Potter with their 3 houses. But what's more important is that this guy, Lance Crown, with 2 markings and ranked first in their grade, came to challenge Mash. That's one of the guy in the OP, and also the 4th guy in the party. People with more markings have more magic power, and people with 2 markings are 1 in 100,000. So this guy is really strong, or at least the lore tells us. To force Mash to challenge him, he traps Mash's new friends in a bottle. Lance uses gravity magic, and the fight appears rather even until he dropped a photo of his sister, revealing him to be a cis-con. Apparently, his sister contracted an incurable disease that will remove her mark and magical power, which will force their family to hand her over to the government. And this is why Lance wants to become the divine visionary, even disowning his parents for abandoning his sister. The fight then ends without a winner halfway when Mash's words remind Lance of his sister's words, but Lance gives Mash a coin anyway. So you might be asking, is it really fine to summarize whole fights like that? Damn it, just rewatch the show at that part if you really want the details. The animators work their asses off for this. Anyway, Lance turns out to be a pretty fly guy and helps Mash and Finn with their assignments. We're also introduced to our main antagonist for the arc, a guy with 3 marks from the Lang dormitory. It should come as no surprise, but their objective is to seize the coins from other dormitories. And this guy, Barrett, the combination of r/I'm the main character and an incel, is the last guy in the party. For the next class, they're supposed to be hunting these forest scorpions, but that's not really relevant to the plot. Some guy called Silva with 2 markings started attacking Mash cause he didn't like him, though the teacher noticed the commotion and the fight didn't break out. Lance advised Mash to ignore Silva, and although wanted to suggest they work together, realized that Mash got lost. Mash runs into Dot, who suggested they fight for the role of the main character, but they hear a girl scream and went to save her. So this girl Lauren can cast some kind of seduction magic, which she uses to get Dot to fight Silva, explaining that Silva has been threatening and stalking her. Mash is unaffected though. Dot and Silva fight, although Silva appears to be stronger than him. Silva then mocked his weakness and suggested that if they could endure 5 hits from his magic, he would leave the girl alone and also throw in 1 silver coin. Dot accepts, and when Silva states that Mash also needs to endure 5 hits, Dot offers to take his 5 hits as well, since Mash has nothing to do with this. Dot takes the 10 hits like a goddamn champ, but Silva had no intention of fulfilling the promise in the first place and continues attacking. Dot asks Mash to take the girl and run, but then Lauren reveals herself to be Silva's accomplice. So Mash finally steps in and beats the shit out of Silva as expected. By the way, this guy claimed to have earned 2 gold coins, but it's not really clear what this means in power scaling. A scorpion with a star-shaped stone tries to do a surprise attack, but Mash 2-1 punches the scorpion into the sky. And as gender equality is still alive, Mash does a suplex on Lauren. So the 5 main characters meet together and Dot does his insulting upon seeing Lemon. Lance then explains that the scorpion Mash defeated was worth 2 silver coins, and with a total of 5 silver coins, this makes 1 gold coin. Mash was likely targeted by the Lang dormitory, which is made out of the upper crust, including the elite group of 7 students called the Magia Lupus. Valuing birthright above everything else, they will do anything to prevent no-names from getting into the Burial of Magic. So Mash is then reminded by Finn that they were assigned their dorms when they enter the school. I mean, you guys already know this, it's Harry Potter's sorting skeleton. This may or may not be just a gag, but the unicorn was shocked that Mash only thought about cream puffs and randomly assigned him to Adler. With our main arc for Season 1 set up and only 6 episodes left, Mash once again got lost and found his way into the Lang Dom. Anyway, the Lang Dom guys are just talking standard evil guy shit, and Silva is punished by being turned into a doll. Also, the main antagonist for Season 1 Abel calls the doll he is holding Mother. Abel recognizes Mash as the first year with a gold coin, and after a whole minute and a half of saying evil guy shit, offers to let Mash go for the coin. Naturally, Mash refuses, and Abel sends a doll to attack. Mash breaks the puppet strings and returns Silva to human form. Continuing the attack, Abel sends a stronger puppet with multiple arms, immobilizing Mash and stealing his gold coin before throwing him against a pillar. Mash then says he's gonna take Silva to the nurse's office, seemingly giving up his coin. Before walking out the door, he proclaims that he's not gonna lose. But something doesn't feel right here. See, the stronger puppet is missing a button. Mash had used his mouth to rip the button off the puppet, spit it at the coin to ricochet the coin, then suck the coin in like a vacuum. Silva wakes up, but he's not joining the party for now, so it doesn't matter. The actual party gathers, and there's some exposition that the Lang Dom has monopolized most of the coins, which means the Divine Visionary will come from them if this keeps up. And since the Senpais and the other Dom are doing internships, and the Orca Doms are nerds, this leaves the current party as the only people to stop the Lang Dom. Without wasting any time, it's time to fight. Marsh was sent to clean the Hour Hearts as a punishment and then helps him in case something happens. Something indeed happens, and Marsh is sucked into some water spell, revealing that he cannot swim. The attackers are, well, not important to remember, but they are the 6th and 7th in Magia Lupus. The bald one turns into a shark, and turns out Marsh learned that he can indeed swim, so we know how this goes. Although this Shuriken guy does have 2 markings, he is weaker than Lance, who only struggled because he didn't want to harm the Hours in the heart. So once he made sure the Hours won't win the AoE, it was easy game. The masked guy with an androgynous voice then appears, triggering Marsh and Lance to react. Lance realizes he can't activate his magic, and Marsh actually misses. But there's still 5 episodes left, so the masked guy retrieves his allies and coolly retreats. Somewhat important, he then mumbles about Marsh's speed without using magic, noting that they are the same types while showing some kind of eye. This guy is pretty strong though, and he proceeds to take away the only gold coin from Orca by defeating some guy. At the same time, strange things have been happening in the dorms, like this puppet appearing at night, and people fainting and losing their magic abilities. For the convenience of the plot, the headmaster is not here while this is happening. You see, later in the episode, he needs to be down here, so this bald guy can explain to us that 6 inmates from Azkaban have escaped by slaughtering prison guards. And more importantly, we can reveal the name of the main antagonist, Voldemort. Well, fine, Innocent Zero. At night, the gang goes to investigate, but realizes that Lemon has been turned into a puppet. They follow her into a hidden basement, where there is an arena and some guy from the Lang Dom here. Honestly, everything the Lang Dom is doing seems to be criminal but using better anime logic. An arena means we must 1v1, or else you summon Godzilla or something, I don't know. So Dot decides to 1v1 here because he hates good looking guys and wins pretty handily. I mean, this guy uses plant, which is obviously weak against fire. The gang then finds themselves sinking to the ground. If I was the one casting the spell, I would just cast it halfway so they become stuck between floors. But that would be dishonorable for the descendants of the samurai, so they find themselves split for more convenient 1v1s. Lance finds himself against the 3rd Fang, Dot and the guy from Hikaru no Go found the 4th and 5th Fang, Marsh finds himself against the masked dude from the other day, who is actually the 2nd Fang, Abyss Razor. Razor then states that he noticed Marsh can't use magic, but says that they are similar. In any case, the first fight is Lance versus the 3rd Fang, who uses his smart magic to negate the effects. They throw some spells, and then the 3rd Fang tries to recruit Lance as his family is a good bloodline which holds the gravity magic. But he made the classic HR mistake of offering too low a salary, offering him only a lower rank position. So naturally they go back to fighting, and the 3rd Fang starts drinking a concentrated magical essence, which was extracted from the other students. We get some lore drop on magical tiers, going from basic, personal magic, then advanced conditional magic, and second is the higher tier of magic only some double liners are allowed to cast. Then we get a typical high expectations kid background story for the 3rd Fang, but Lance also has a 2nd tier magic and he wins the fight. Noticing that they probably have similar backgrounds, Lance then does the stand proud meme and walks away. Well, the next fight is Marsh vs Abyss, so it's obvious who's going to win. But Abyss turns out to be a fucking liar when he says that they are similar since he can use acceleration magic. Then he reminds us that female characters in shonen manga exist only to be damsels in distress, explaining that Lemon will lose her magic in 30 minutes. They continue fighting and Abyss's mask gets destroyed, at which point means he is legally obligated to explain his eye and the reason why he wears the mask by shonen law. So his eye can negate magic, and people like using magic, so people hate him, including his parents. And because this world probably doesn't have the internet, he doesn't know that there are a whole community of Reddit users who also think they shouldn't have been born and don't mind being unalive. Because he is jelly of Marsh seemingly having a blessed background, he uses his 2nd spell. But as we established earlier, violence triumphs over everything and Marsh wins. Then Abyss gives a longer narration of his life story, which means that Marsh has no choice but to become his friend now by shonen law. So basically, his parents didn't read any shonen manga and didn't realize that Abyss could have been a harem protagonist like Toma from Madosu Index, or a shonen protagonist like Asta from Black Clover, then decided to unalive him instead of, I don't know, giving him an eye patch or something. In any case, there is still one more ongoing fight. Because the Hikaru no Go guy is in the wrong manga, the 4th Fang loses interest and walks away, leaving the 5th Fang to 1v2. Since they aren't playing Go and the 5th Fang has 2 lines, Dot basically 1v1s her and is losing. But Dot turns out to have main protagonist powers and can unlock more magic when emotions cross a threshold. By simple math, Dot wins the fight, but the 4th Fang comes back. But the Divine Visionary Rain aims also just arrived, who cleanly wins the fight. So Rain is a huge believer of corporal punishment, and it's revealed that he is Finn Ames's brother. Rain was actually called here by Dumbledore to deal with Innocent Zero's pawns, and he's running around finding them as the pawns are likely concealing their magic power. He then bumps into Marsh, but apparently remembering a face is too difficult, so he summons a spider to check Marsh's magic power levels. You see, Dumbledore did tell him about Marsh, and even asked Rain to look out for him. In any case, Rain tested Marsh's abilities by throwing up to 10% partisan, which we can probably assume means he was using less than 10% of his power. And well, Mash is obviously fine. Rain remembers about Marsh and apologizes by giving him a handkerchief that can heal wounds. Rain then fucks off to find Innocent Zero's pawns, having served his purpose as a measuring tape for Marsh's power. So finally, Mash is able to confront Abel. Abel then lectures about some eugenics and trickle-down economic bullshit, and well, I suppose this is the climax fight, so I should probably narrate this instead of skipping everything over. After destroying some fodder puppets, Abel starts controlling Marsh using strings, but feels this is too one-sided and sends over Finn, which he had turned into a puppet. Then he threatens Marsh, saying that he will break Finn if Marsh retaliates. So Puppet Finn does the aura aura aura, while Abel continues lecturing, and finally pauses talking when the axe broke. Marsh uses a reverse talk no jutsu, distracting Abel using his gold coin, which he shoots to break the puppet strings on Finn. But Abel didn't like other people doing the talking, and threw the puppet strings on Marsh again. Only this time, Marsh breaks the strings using his strength, and kicks Abel in the face. This forces Abel to use his next spell, transforming Marsh into a puppet. He then reaches for Marsh's gold coin, only to take out a cream puff. This triggers the Marsh puppet to punch back, which they explain is a spinal reflex, allowing the response despite being unconscious. Realizing there's only half an episode left, Abel uses his second spell, which turns everything in a 100-meter radius into puppets with invisible strings. Immediately, Marsh angles his body, causing the strings to reach each side of his body at different timings. As he lost control on one side, he snaps the strings on the other. This allows him to retain control and destroy the spell easily. He then suplexes Abel, who then narrates his life story. So basically, his mom always helped the poor, but one day she got stabbed by some guy she was helping and died. He then liberates everyone and everybody celebrates. No, like, really.
You are hero?
Oh yeah.
And then whoop! Rain finds Lance, who is revealed to be a pawn of Innocent Zero. Oh no wait, Lance is still good. The guy is just borrowing his face. So this weird hair guy explains that he was searching for something in the school, but even Abel couldn't find it, which means he has to kill Abel now. But before being able to chase, Rain is stopped by John Pierre, and Rain remarks that weird hair guy is on par with a Divine Visionary, and might not be able to be stopped. Marsh needed to go to the toilet, which gives time for weird hair guy to come in and step the party out of the way. He tries to kill Abel, and Marsh comes back with a stack of cream puff to party, but a fly lands on his nose and he sneezes the stack of cream puff at weird hair guy. Weird hair guy then gets a headache and realizes that Marsh might be the thing they were looking for at this school. He shoots a spell at Abel, but before Marsh could reach them, Abyss takes the blow. He didn't die though, cause Marsh had the handkerchief. Additionally, Marsh also threw a stone, causing the spell to be slightly off trajectory. This, however, confirms that Marsh is indeed the one that weird hair guy was looking for. An angry Marsh then stomps the ground and kicks a rock towards weird hair guy, who then catches it and... Okay. Weird hair guy throws a barrage of spells, which Marsh continuously punches. And well, it's not yet season 2, so Marsh gets overpowered and Abel remarks that Marsh can't win. Dot wants to help but feels that if he goes over, the two burdens will be in danger. So then Abel remembers his mom's words to be kinder to others and finally decided to fight back. His spell is easily destroyed, but this turned out to be a distraction so Marsh can get closer to punch weird hair guy. Although, this does nothing, as weird hair guy made a carbon shield. Weird hair guy then asks Marsh what his magic is, to which Marsh randomly says power. The gang seems surprised at this, while weird hair guy takes this as a refusal and brings out a spellflection mirror. As the name implies, this reflects any magic. But this was supposed to be guarded by the Bureau of Magic, implying the typical corruption that happens in these stories. The gang seems convinced that power is a type of magic, since Dot tries to dissuade Marsh from attacking. But of course we already know what's gonna happen, and Marsh smashes Weird Hair Guy's face in. Then everybody suddenly has a revelation that everything Marsh has been doing in school thus far was not magic, and the secret is now out of the bag.
もうファンタジーじゃないそれってもうファンタジーじゃない。
ファンタジーだろそれはもう。
Anyway, Weird Hair Guy is unharmed, and he checks his hand to see a mark. Together with the headache, he double confirms that Marsh is indeed what he was looking for, and retreats for the day. Also, his name is Cell War. So Abel and Abyss goes to heal, while the gang realizes that they have to protect Marsh's secret. Except some NPC wakes up and says he heard everything and is going to tell the teachers. I mean, we already know that Dumbledore is probably going to protect him from being expelled somehow, and that there's going to be some meeting with some big shots next season, as is classic in these stories. But with half the gimmick of this anime gone, it's time to end the season. As a teaser, we get shown some evil building in the sky with Weird Hair Guy talking to someone he calls father in a chair with RGB lighting. Voldemort in this anime is revealed to have hair, and he tells Weird Hair Guy to go retrieve what they have lost, so he can make his wish come true. So I guess, Marsh is basically some kind of Horcrux or some shit. And that's season 1. If you're impatient and want to read the manga, you can start at chapter 39 in volume 5. Alright, I'm out.